Okay, so to start today on our scales work, we're going to learn our first minor scale. So this is the A minor scale. And what's fantastic about this scale is it shares all its notes with the C major scale, which you already know. So let's take a look. So to find a minor scale, I can teach you a formula, just like the formula we use for our major scales. But I'm actually not going to. And the reason being is because there's a far easier way to learn your minor scales. And truthfully, you don't actually need to learn anything because you already know it. You just don't know you know it. Now, the A minor scale, we do already know that there are going to be 8 notes in this scale starting from A. So we know it's going to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. But what we don't know is whether there's any sharps or flats in this scale. So how do we find that out if we don't have a formula? Well, every single minor scale has a relative major scale. And the 2 relative scales have exactly the same notes. So if we're looking to find out what the A minor scale is, all we have to do is find the relative major and then we'll know what notes to use. And to find the relative major is super easy. All you have to do is count up 3 half steps. So from the note of A, we count up 3 half steps, 1, 2, 3, and we land on a C. So we now know that the relative major of an A minor is the C major scale. And the C major scale is super easy. We've already learned it. It's just C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, all on the white notes. There's no sharps, there's no flats. So it will be exactly the same for the A minor. There'll be no sharps or no flats. So the A minor is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And even though both of these scales have exactly the same notes, they do sound very different, and we'll listen to it in a moment. But I just wanted you to know how to find the notes of the minor scale, and all you have to do is find the relative major. Now, the same thing happens the other way round. So if we're playing a C major scale and we want to know what the relative minor is, we just count down 3 half steps. So if we're playing merrily on a C major scale and suddenly decide that we want to know what the relative minor is, we start on C, we count down 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3. And we'd find that our relative minor scale is an A minor. And this works for every single note on the piano. So if we were to pick a different note, let's say we pick a G, for instance, we're playing merrily on a G major scale and we would like to know what the relative minor is. Very simply, we just count down 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3. So the relative minor of G major is E minor. So E minor and G major have exactly the same notes, which is all the white notes except for the F, which is an F sharp. The only difference is for the E minor you start on the E, and for the G major you start on the G. And this works for every single note on the piano. But for now, we're interested in the A minor. So let's take a look on the keyboard. So there are actually 3 types of minor scale. There's the natural minor scale, the harmonic minor scale, and the melodic minor scale. But you don't need to worry about the harmonic and the melodic right now. We're just learning the natural minor scale. And we've just learned the notes of the A minor scale, which is all the white notes, exactly the same as the C major, but starting on the A. So let's take a listen. Now, if I play the C major scale, so can you hear the difference between those 2 scales, even though they have exactly the same notes? The major, the C major, has a happy sound. And the A minor has a sad sound. So if a composer was going to write a nice, happy, uplifting song, he might choose to write that song in C major. But if he was choosing to write a bit of a sad song or a love song, he might choose the minor, which would be the A minor. So you need to be able to play the right hand, the left hand, and both hands together. And it's exactly the same as the C major scale, except it starts on the A. So you shouldn't have any problems. So right hand. Left hand. And both hands together. So practice your A minor scale this week with hands separately and hands together, and practice it well, because in the next lesson we're going to be learning different variations of the minor scale. We're going to learn the harmonic minor and the melodic minor. So you need to know your A minor really well to be able to do that.